presented by Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years. Matteson Navigation, serving Guam and Micronesia for 20 years. The all-new 2018 Kona by Hyundai, available at Cars Plus. IP&E, fueling excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dedido. Always open, always local.
Straight ahead on primetime, viral videos circulated all week out of one local high school results in a student being placed under arrest. Plus, how much traveling is your government doing? In tonight's Chris Barnett Reports, a first-hand look at GEDA's jaw-dropping travel spending. And in election headlines, one student-led poll gives us a glimpse of what voters will be thinking about when they cast their ballots in Decision 2018. Have a day, everybody, and good evening. I'm Jason Salas, and these are tonight's top headlines. It was a brief scare at a local middle school up in Jigo today as school officials forced into a lockdown at FB Leonguro Middle School after reports that a student was seen waving what appeared to be a gun on campus. DOE says students and staffers were told to shelter in place just short of 3:20 this afternoon. GPD was called to the school, but no firearm was found, and the all-clear was given just before 4 p.m. Staying up north, the 18-year-old Simon Sanchez High School student captured in a pair of viral mobile videos this week has been placed under arrest. KDJ Joseph has been charged with 2 counts each of assault and criminal mischief. The suspect is seen in one video hitting another student before a school aide stepped in. A second mobile video showed a trail of blood at the campus after that same student hit the glass window on the entrance door as well as a classroom door. Officials have said they believe the suspect was under the influence and smelled of alcohol. Well, also from the crime scene, a man is on the run after a purse snatching over in Tumon earlier this week. Police say it happened along Route 14, which is the hill going up to JFK High School, towards Kmart around 3 a.m. on Monday. The victim was walking up the hill with a friend when the suspect grabbed her purse from behind. Investigators say the suspect jumped into a light-colored sedan that pulled up ahead of them. The suspect's car was last seen taking off on Marine Corps Drive toward Harmon. He is described as being possibly local, wearing a light-colored shirt and dark shorts. Anyone with information about this case, please call Guam Crime Stoppers. Their number, as always, is 477-HELP. That's 477-4357. In other island news headlines, a convicted drug dealer will spend just under 6 years in jail. From the years 2013 to 2014, Joaquin Rosario worked with a San Francisco defendant to smuggle the drug known as ice into Guam. Authorities picked him up after discovering 500 grams on the unnamed co-defendant, who was en route to meet with Rosario. A search of Rosario's car and home revealed a stash of cash, close to $100,000 in currency and more drugs. Court documents state the defendant admitted to the scheme, telling authorities that he believed he could make a lot of money on Guam because at the time, the price of methamphetamine on island was $500 to $700 per gram. Also tonight, one man was spotted taking a turn too fast and did not show any signs of slowing down. This prompted police to pull him over, and inside the car when they searched, an officer noticed Gino Uccella's hands would not stop shaking. Officers also observed bubble wrap coming out of a compartment underneath the air conditioning vent. When asked what it was, Uccella's claimed that it was trash and threw it on the floorboard, trying to cover it with his foot. When officers took a look, they found an improvised glass pipe and clear plastic bags containing the drug known as ice. Uccella's was arrested and charged with drug possession and as a third-degree felony. Also, as we reported on Facebook earlier today, one man was en route to buy drugs, but 26-year-old Eric Michael Wenceslau was arrested Wednesday. Court documents state police were tipped off that he was on his way to a supplier in the Liguan area of Dedido. Police pulled him over and noticed that he would not sit still. They also could not deny the smell of marijuana that was coming from his car. A pat-down of Wenceslau revealed the drug ice, a glass pipe, and more drugs under the floor mat of the passenger seat. Well, on the heels of their oversight chair calling for an audit of the agency, KUAM News brings you an exclusive report on the Guam Economic Development Authority's jaw-dropping travel spending. It is our latest Chris Barnett report.
GEDA definitely in the Mile High Club after spending over $500,000 on travel. The Guam Economic Development Authority spending $550,000 on travel in fiscal years 2017 and 2018, according to documents obtained from the agency by way of Freedom of Information Act request. GEDA Administrator Jay Rojas, a real jet setter. He's racked up over 2 million frequent flyer miles with Delta Airlines, and GEDA has spent over $180,000 on Rojas's travel since 2017. Rojas routinely posting pictures of his trips on his Facebook with a hashtag. Hashtag, are you following Jay? Boston, Chicago, China, Japan, San Francisco, New York, Washington, D.C., Seattle, Korea. The destinations for Rojas go on and on. Perks. Rojas telling me GEDA pays for economy tickets, but he upgrades to first class when available with his own funds. Sources saying Rojas often stays in five-star hotels, and GEDA chalks it up to the cost of doing business. Rojas, also GEDA's highest paid employee. After getting a $10,000 raise at the end of 2016, he now makes over $111,000 a year, roughly $3,400 a paycheck. Throw in benefits, and Rojas is costing GEDA $150,000 per year. Now, who pays for GEDA's travel? A majority of it charged to bond fees. GEDA adding its travel into the cost of money that GovGuam borrows. So ultimately, in most cases, it's on us, as the legislature appropriates taxpayer dollars to pay back these bonds. And with GovGuam debt doubling up in the last decade, GEDA justifies its travel by saying they need to do it to soothe investors and bond companies whenever Guam's economy hits a bump in the road. Reasons for travel on the docks we FOIA'd: meetings with investors, meetings with healthcare professionals, meetings with bond counsel, meetings with Barclays, meetings on bond pricing, and trade missions. While some say GEDA's excessive travel is a case of spend money to make money, others may say it's more like spend money to owe money, since much of what GEDA does relates to securing hundreds of millions of dollars in loans for GovGuam. In a WhatsApp message, Rojas said GEDA's travel yielded $25 million in bond savings through refinancing GovGuam debt, and recent trade missions led to approval of a $70 million hotel investment. I tried to get an on-camera interview with Rojas for this story, but he was, you guessed it, off island. For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
All right, Chris, thanks so much for that story. In other island news headlines, a recent poll conducted by students up at Simon Sanchez High School gives you a glimpse of what voters will be thinking about when they cast their votes in Decision 2018. How do residents feel about gambling, school safety, and who exactly is to blame for GovGuam's financial crisis? Crystal Paco reports.
A total of 1,069 registered voters were polled. All the data collected by Simon Sanchez High School AP Government and Sociology students who teamed up with the school's math department. What did they find? It's been heavily debated for years, and it appears Guam voters still aren't sold on casino gambling. 57% saying no, even if gambling was limited to hotels, and even considering GovGuam's current cash crunch. As for school safety, survey says public school teachers shouldn't be allowed to conceal carry on campus. A whopping 74% said no to armed educators. 26% open to the idea, considering the recent school shootings in the U.S. mainland. And what could our 35th Guam legislature look like? Sitting senators, be warned. If you voted in favor of tax increases and are seeking re-election, polled voters said they wouldn't cast their votes for you. A total of 79% not fans of the extra strain on their wallets. And it's all about holding public officials accountable, right? Registered voters polled say Governor DeCalvo is to blame for GovGuam's current cash crisis, a total of 42% pointing the finger at him. Senators came in second, followed by President Donald Trump's tax cuts, and dead last to be blamed, the North Korean threats. Though polled voters blame the current governor for the cash-crunching crisis, most also report being either financially the same or better off under the Calvo administration. And what election-based survey would be complete without a question on the heated gubernatorial race? 35% of those polled saying they're undecided. With no real frontrunner, it appears the Frank Uggan Jr., Alicia Limtiaco team will be the Democratic pick to face off with lone Republican hopefuls Ray Tenorio and Tony Atta in the general election. To view the survey in its entirety, visit KUAM.com. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Crystal Paco.
Now, in reaction to Crystal's story, the governor's office responded to the poll, calling out teacher Andre Bainum. He teaches at Sanchez and led the poll conducted by students. Governor spokesperson Oya Nirarikil said it's unfortunate that the media continues to give credibility to Andre, who is using school children to carry out his personal political agenda. Andre's history of social media posts, she writes, clearly shows an individual who is both emotionally and politically biased. I'm confident, she says, the leadership at DOE shares this concern. Now, Bainum, also quick to fire back and getting the last word in, stated, quote, I don't understand what agenda they think I have, as I do not endorse nor am I running for any office. I think the people in Adelup need to take a civics class to understand that just because I work for the government of Guam does not mean that I don't have any personal opinions. The poll had many questions of public interest other than politics, end quote. That Sanchez teacher Andre Bainum. Now, it is worth noting that the poll was conducted over the phone with students instructed to stay to a written script as they collected the data. Well, staying with education news, what will DOE's reassignment of attendance areas mean for your children? Talks of redistricting are starting, with the first stop being to a middle school in the village of Ordet on Wednesday night. Our Carmen Terlahi has more in our next reports.
Redistricting, a word that may be unsettling for some. But Ordat Chamampago Mayor Jesse Gogui says it's a positive move for those that live in his area.
The proposals that impact this area are probably going to be the least controversial.
The mayor says it makes a lot of sense. Students who live in the Pagat Manilao area who attend Agata Johnson Middle School will move to Antolon Middle School in Barrigada, a closer choice that in reducing traffic would let them be early for breakfast. And students who attend MU Lujan living on the Ordat side of Pago Bay will attend Ordat Elementary, the offset being Wifaganya and Aganya Heights students shuffled to Ordat schools.
Well, for those students, I think it'll actually be better. They'll be coming to a school that's not only closer to them, but they won't be fighting rush hour traffic.
The first village redistricting meeting was held here at Agata Johnson Middle School on Wednesday night. Ordat Mayor says the plan was met with a positive response. However, that might not be the case in every village.
It's when you start getting to the northern schools, because that's where the population is at, is in our northern schools.
If the plan is approved by the Guam Education Board, the proposal can start as early as next school year. Public input is encouraged at these village meetings. The next will be Monday night at Beneventi Middle School in Dededo. Reporting for Guam News Network, I'm Carmen Victoria Terlahi.
Well, they are the first school to undergo renewal of their charter with the Charter School Council, meeting Thursday afternoon at a work session to discuss accreditation and renewal of Guahan Academy Charter School's charter. Since they're the first to go through the process, the council is hoping the school gets the formatting right. The report should include process of student achievement and all audited financial statements for the past 4 years. Council member Selba Bauta reiterated the need for hard facts.
Before I make any actually objective decision making with regards to the renewal of the charter, I really want some hard data to make sure that when I make my decision.
The council is set to meet with GACS to finalize a report on the 27th and again on May 4th, days before a public hearing on May 16th to decide the fate of the Guahan Academy Charter School. For the time being, officials from the charter school say they've applied for accreditation back in 2013 and met the law's requirements. However, the WASC, the accrediting committee, did not visit until 2017, causing a setback to finalize the accreditation process. Well, we are just getting started, everybody. Please keep watching and keep streaming. We continue with Primetime after this.
There are more ways to experience KUAM News than any other source on Guam. Download the KUAM News app for your Apple or Android device for 24/7 news, sports, videos, weather, streaming with KUAM radio, and important news alerts. And stay connected at home with Guam's first app for Apple TV. All available now from the App Store.
Half the day, I'm in the club.
Half a day, welcome to Two Lovers Point.
Half a day, I'm in the club.
Now you can choose your favorite Nissan rides and 30 flyaways on Philippine Airlines when you play Micronesia Mall's Your Best Choice giveaway. To play, present mall receipts to win a new Versa Note SR, the Crossover Rogue Sport SV, the Heritage Edition 370Z, or you can choose a tough Nissan truck. Plus, there are great instant prizes from Burger King and Foot Locker. Win more cars, trips, and prizes when you play Micronesia Mall's Your Best Choice giveaway.
There are more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
Today and welcome back to the show, everybody. The fiscal year 2019 request for proposal for GovGuam's health care insurance program is under protest. President and CEO of Take Care Insurance, Joseph Husline, says the company filed an appeal with DOA, arguing that the requirement insurance providers include care at GRMC violates both procurement law as well as policies stating GovGuam must choose the most economic insurance for government retirees and employees. He adds that it's an oxymoron to think including GRMC would result in lower fees, and the stipulation minimizes an insurance company's ability to negotiate a fair and beneficial contract. Currently, the three options of insurance proves that the price difference of including GRMC is 25%. Now, although he adds that he is sympathetic to patients who want to use the GRMC's services, which he says would still be available out of network in the case of emergencies. During this protest, Husline assures there will be no disruption of healthcare services, adding that in this financial crisis, the island's public sector has an obligation to Guam's only public hospital. He further outlines every dollar spent on GRMC and not GMH would mean the legislature will have to allocate more money to the latter, ultimately affecting taxpayer money. Well, down at the Port Authority, that agency is set up for another big step forward in its $72 million revenue bond. The PUC is set to consider the petition at its meeting next week, with Port GM Joanne Brown providing an update at Thursday's Port Board of Directors meeting.
Next on the agenda will be the public comments.
The administrative law judge will be providing his report and proposed order to the members of the commission. We will be in attendance, and certainly if any of our board members are able to attend, as this is a significant historic occasion for the Port of Guam, as this will be the very first time, of course, in our 43-year history that the port is moving forward with a bond indenture.
Brown says if the PUC approves the petition, the next step is to have the bonds rated in mid-May. In other news, the port will see an increase in funding for key infrastructure as well as equipment, as it now expects to get almost $3 million in federal grant funds.
Which is the estimated cost we had for the additional repairs to the extended yard, and then also the procurement costs for 4 top lifters. So that's very good news, because we were originally informed that they would the only funds the port would have would be what was remaining in the enterprise fund. So for them to extend the federal obligation to the full amount is really good news and was unexpected on our part. And of course,
Brown says while there may be adjustments after the bidding process, the bulk of the funds will still come from Uncle Sam. Well, government budget hearings are underway for fiscal year 2019, and your elected senators will be keeping a close eye on cutting costs. Appropriations Chairman Speaker B.J. Cruz opened discussion by reminding agency representatives about a new law authorizing the reorganization of GovGuam's executive branch.
I want to thank everyone. The intent of this policy was to prioritize the expenditure of limited government revenue to these agencies with what has been identified as higher priority numbers, thereby creating government savings and promoting increased efficiency whenever possible.
The legislature also sent letters to each agency asking specific questions about their mission. Cruz says, and I quote, "It was imperative that the community fully comprehend each agency's requirements."
The responses to the items are for the benefit of the public. I want the public to understand that for these line agencies, the governor submitted 2 options. Option 1 assumed a business privilege tax that increased 2%, whereas the other option assumed no business privilege tax increase or sales tax increase.
Even autonomous agencies who do not receive money from the general fund were invited to the budget hearings. Speaker Cruz says he also wants to give them an opportunity to inform the public. More than a dozen agencies were scheduled to appear during this first day of hearings. And in other island news headlines this evening, finding solutions to the problems faced by non-governmental organizations was the focus during the second day of the 8th Annual Micronesia Nonprofit Congress Conference. Guest speakers from both on and off island appeared before leaders to speak on approaches to certain issues. Our Kiani Mendiolo was in attendance, and she has this next story.
As people of the Pacific, the current issues Guam faces are in ways similar to those of our neighbors. Day 2 of PAZUTA's 8th Annual Micronesia Nonprofit Congress Conference focused on some of the key problems faced by the islands. Local and visiting guest speakers appeared before attendees at the Western Resort, including the Honorable Francois Martel, Secretary General of the Pacific Islands Development Forum out of the Republic of Fiji, whose presentation focused heavily on an innovative approach for NGOs in achieving the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals.
Civil society can more than engage, more than advocate. They can actually be part of the decision-making process, the planning process, and the implementation towards the Sustainable Development Goals if we can get the tools and resources.
In promoting green growth, he emphasizes that as people of Micronesia, we need to encourage the conservation of the natural resources of our homes and be aware of climate change and how it affects us. On another note, Charlotte Sisson from the U.S. State Department's Office of Policy, Planning, and Coordination in the Bureau for International Narcotics and Law Enforcement spoke on drug demand reduction in the workforce.
What can we do at the very, very beginning to stop substance use from being long-term? You want to intervene as early as possible. That's why at the beginning is the most important.
Drug and substance abuse are a prevalent problem, and there are current NGO groups on island who service individuals dealing with addiction. Sisson adds that pre-diversion methods like treatment programs are more effective and essential as opposed to prison.
There's only a few people that need to be in jail. She said everybody else, they're coming home. They're coming back to the community. That's where we need to focus our support and our efforts.
Additional speakers from today include UOG President Dr. Robert Underwood and Pacific Islands Forum Secretariat Advisor Penisoni Napoto. Conference attendees spent the day further discussing resolutions to be presented to the Guam legislature at Friday's Policy Forum. Off-island representatives will also take these resolutions back home to their policymakers. The conference will continue through Monday. Reporting for Guam News Network, I'm Kiani Mediola.
All right, Kiani, thanks so much. We got sports coming up after the break.
It's back, the Smartphone Super Sale event. Enjoy huge savings on our most popular Samsung Galaxy smartphones. But this offer won't last long, so drop into a GTA store today.
Our mighty SUV mega sale is going on now at Cars Plus, and you're going to save big with cash back on every purchase. Get to Cars Plus and shop our great selection of Hyundai Santa Fe's, Tucsons, and the all-new Kona, Guam's most affordable SUV. Or our full line of Jeeps, like a new Jeep Renegade, save $6,000, or a new Jeep Cherokee, save $4,500 with rates as low as 1.99% APR for qualified buyers. It's Cars Plus, mighty SUV mega sale. Cars Plus, driven by you.
We only have 30 seconds to describe the newest specialty flavor in the Signature Crafted Recipes collection by McDonald's, Garlic White Cheddar. It's layered with a slice of smooth, perfectly melty white cheddar cheese, a crunchy medley of tasty, crispy garlic chips, a dramatic drizzle of smooth, delicious, and flavorful, delectably creamy garlic aioli, all come together with a mouth-wateringly juicy tomato slice and crisp iceberg lettuce atop crispy buttermilk chicken on a soft, warm artisan roll. Luckily, you can take all the time you need to savor every bite. The Signature Crafted Recipes collection by McDonald's.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
Says teamwork makes the dream work.
Most of us have been playing with each other since we were little. We basically grew up together at GFA and played soccer our whole lives.
Brianne may still be in high school, but she won the Golden Boot in the GFA's Women's Premier League. She's been in the junior national team program since the 5th grade, representing Guam in Thailand last year.
Makes you have a lot of pride in your island and to know where you're from.
She's very competitive, and she also enjoys the social aspects of soccer life.
I love soccer and meeting new people in other teams and playing against former teammates really is so fun.
Brianne says she wants to play collegiate soccer and play for the Masakata, Guam's women's national soccer team. She takes her studies seriously, saying student-athlete life isn't always easy.
Being a student athlete is very hard, but it's all about time management and putting school first, but also focusing on your sport.
Brianne also plays basketball and volleyball for the Royals. When she was 15, she played her rookie season in the Women's Premier League for the Rovers, netting the game-winning goal in the championship match that year. She scored 4 goals in the IIAG girls soccer season opener this year against the Academy Cougars. She says the Royals have fun playing, but when it's time to put in work, it's time to put in work.
There's a time to have fun, but there's also a time to be serious and get the work done.
Brianne is getting the work done on and off the field. Her focus and determination is what drives her to keep the Royals queens of the soccer kingdom. And that's what makes Brianne Leon Guerrero a Gatorade game changer.
Manny Tago defeated Jim McCoy in the best-of-3 final match, 258 to 230 and 276 to 245 with handicap to capture his second senior bowling title of the year. This win was a good tune-up match for Tago as he prepares for a competition in Malaysia next week. The GSBA is still putting out a call to all interested seniors who wish to participate in the 15th Asia Senior Bowling Championship in Okinawa. Check out GuamBowlingCongress.com for more information.
Well, that's going to do it for sports. We're back right after this.
We're celebrating our 135th anniversary today, both in the outlying regions on which we hub and also here in Guam itself. It means so much to our team here in Guam. It means a lot to us in the Matteson management team because what it says is we're here to stay. It's a real physical manifestation of our commitment to this region. It's so important that we hire locally, we develop talent locally, we train locally. What's been a wonderful addition to our approach there is that many of the people who started off in Guam have gone off into significant leadership roles elsewhere in the company.
This is our headquarters here in Guam in Micronesia. And when we talk about putting down our roots, it's not just doing business, it's about everything we do with our friends, our customers, and our employees. I believe that nobody can replicate what we do, and that's why we have such a great team and such a great service and why we're successful. This is our home, this is our life, and we're happy to make a difference in everyone else's life.
Guam is more than a tiny island in the Pacific. This magical place is where I call home. This island inspires me to learn and explore what's around me. It teaches me that there are no shortcuts in life and that the long way home may just be the scenic route. That even the dirt roads can lead you to beautiful destinations.
In the Mix is coming right up, but before we get to that, here are tonight's birthday shoutouts. It is a very special day for two very lucky Guamanians. Jeff Bautista has a birthday today. Happy birthday, Jeff, from all of us at KUAM and Cold Stone Creamery. And happy birthday to Ashley Carbolito, who also blew out the candles today. Ashley, hope you had a great day. Anybody can be part of the club, and it is 100% free. Just go to KUAM.com, click the link for the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club, and register. As promised, Sabrina has In the Mix, and that is next.
Closed captioning is brought to you by IT&E. In the Mix is presented by California Pizza Kitchen. Visit them today at the Holiday Resort Hotel.
Half a day, everybody. I'm Sabrina Salas-Matanani, and welcome to another episode of In the Mix. This Sunday, hundreds of jiu-jitsu practitioners will be taking the mat